Chapter 13. In the car, as we headed back toward town, I was quiet for a few minutes, letting what I just witnessed sink in before saying anything. You realize that now that Ethan knows, we won't be able to keep this pregnancy a secret anymore, right? He took a deep breath and let it out in a rush. I know. I should have thought of that. You just let your temper get the best of you. I finished. Yeah. You know we have to tell your family now, don't you? I know. As much as I'd like to put it off, to go home and let you get some rest first, we can't. If we wait, they'll hear it from someone else and that will hurt their feelings. We'll need to stop there before going home. I nodded, having figured he would come to that conclusion. I started mentally bracing myself for his mom's reaction. We went straight to their house after leaving the ranch. I was surprised when we found both of his parents at home, about to sit down for lunch. They invited us to join them, and since I was starving and we needed time to talk anyway, we accepted the offer. I didn't know how to bring up the subject, but Devon spoke first, saving me. Mom, has Mrs. Daniels been in touch with you about planning the wedding? He asked. Yes, she's called. I don't know why you two are in such a hurry. It's going to be difficult to plan a decent wedding on such short notice. We don't want a big wedding, Mom. Nicki has decided on just family and close friends. But it could be wonderful. She protested, all set to tell us what she had in mind. Mom, no. Devon was firm. You got to do the big wedding thing with Amy. Nicki doesn't want that. But, she tried to argue more, but Devon wasn't going to let her get carried away. No, Mom, and that's final. We will be married by Thanksgiving, no later. If you can't deal with our decision to keep it small, we can plan it without you. That stopped all argument. She immediately backed down. But why? Why are you insisting on before Thanksgiving? Because I want to be married to my child's mother, sooner rather than later. He said bluntly, and I watched as the meaning of his words dawned on her. She was stunned for a moment. Devon's father, Sean, was silent, watching the whole exchange as he ate. Child? You mean she's pregnant? Is that why you're getting married? Her voice got high with excitement. No, Devon replied. I proposed before we found out, but yes, she's pregnant. So, you'd already decided to stay together, to seal your mating before she got pregnant? You're starting fast. His mom seemed to be talking without taking time to think or breathe. Well? He hesitated for a moment. Not before she got pregnant, but before we knew about it. Sean's brows lifted, and it was obvious he was aware of what was going on around him, but he remained quiet, seeming to concentrate on the food in front of him. From what I've known of Devon's father, he's a man of few words, and it usually made me nervous. But after witnessing the fight between Devon and Ethan, I couldn't get worked up about Sean's lack of input. We're mated. We won't be changing our minds. However, I still want to make it legal before she starts showing. Devon paused a moment before continuing. We know people will assume that we got married because of the baby, but we will know the truth. The baby isn't the reason for the wedding, just the reason we did it so quick. If she was already pregnant when you proposed, then she was pregnant when she was kidnapped. Sean finally spoke, putting together some of the things Devon wasn't saying. Devon nodded. Is the baby all right? My soon-to-be father-in-law wanted to know. According to Alexis, yes, I spoke up. It was after I was hurt in Seattle that she found the pregnancy. She didn't tell us until after we were home and the symptoms started. I thought I had picked up some kind of stomach bug. I shook my head with a small laugh. She assures me the baby is fine, and nothing that happened in Seattle affected it. The electo in Texas said the same thing when she helped me out as well. What happened in Texas? Sean was instantly suspicious. Devon filled them in on Troy's attempt to kidnap me, leaving out our stop to see Ethan. "We have a problem in the pack," Sean said. Devon and I nodded, not sure what else to say. Devon's mother, Amber, filled the silence with chatter about the baby and the wedding, and we let her change the subject. I didn't want to think about what it would take to fix what was wrong within our pack. A couple hours after leaving Devon's parents' house, I got a call from Bill. "I understand that Devon challenged Ethan this morning," Bill said without a greeting. "They fought this morning, but I wouldn't call it a challenge." "What happened exactly?" Devon was pissed that Ethan sent a member of Brandon's elitist group to protect me in Texas, especially after Troy tried to kidnap me. I talked him into staying in Phoenix last night, hoping his temper would cool, but when we got back to town this morning, I couldn't put him off any longer. "So what happened?" Devon arranged to meet him when we got back into town. When we got there, Devon beat the crap out of him. Oh, I suddenly remembered. He told Ethan that the only reason Ethan got to live was because I wasn't hurt. Then we left. Bill sighed. "Do you know what this means?" "That Devon's become really protective since we found out I'm pregnant?" I asked, at a loss for what else he could mean. "Yes, it does mean that, but it's something else as well. It means that Devon has proven that he's more dominant and a better fighter than Ethan." So, I kinda understood how dominance within the pack worked. Anyone more dominant than you could tell you what to do. But I didn't see how it really mattered in this situation. "So," Bill was patient as he explained it to me, "this makes Devon our new Theron." "You're kidding." I was stunned. It never would have occurred to me that a fight for another reason, even one out of anger, could mean the loss or gain, as the case may be, of a position like Theron. "No, I'm not." "Crap. I assume this wasn't the goal?" "While I can't be absolutely sure, I don't think so." Devon came through the apartment door. He'd been across the complex at his apartment, packing some of the stuff in his apartment while I napped. "What's wrong, baby? I felt you panic before you calmed it." I glanced up at him. "He just came in, you can tell him what you just told me," I said to Bill before handing my PCD to Devon. "It's Bill." I left the two of them to talk while I went to find something to do. I didn't need to sit there and watch as he got the news that had me still reeling. A little while later, Devon came into the kitchen looking for me. "Did he tell you that you're the new Theron?" "Yeah." I glanced at him and then went back to cooking. "What does this mean for us?" He stepped behind me and ran his hands up and down my upper arms, letting the tactile contact soothe me without interfering with what I was doing. "He says I'll need to take over management of the pack's enforcers. I'll need to meet them all, get to know their strengths and weaknesses. He says I can still work for your dad. Once I've got a grip on things, Theron isn't really a full-time job." "That's good." I twisted around to place a soft kiss on his cheek before going back to what I was doing. "It'll mean more pack involvement, more work, but on the plus side, he said it comes with a salary. That will make putting together a wedding and finding a house easier. He also told me about a couple of houses for rent. He offered to put us in touch with the owners so we can check them out." Wow. This is coming together fast. It needs to. We've already given notice. We had to be out of both apartments in less than 3 weeks. We've got to find somewhere to move into. I nodded, agreeing. I didn't want to have to deal with the packing, but I knew it had to be done. I was ready to live somewhere I couldn't hear my neighbors' every move.